You're listening to the AmWritingFantasy podcast. In today's publishing landscape, you can reach fans all over the world. Query letters are a thing of the past. You don't even need a literary agent. There is nothing standing in the way of making a living from writing. Join two best-selling authors who have self-published more than 20 books between them. Now, on to the show with your hosts, Autumn Burt and Jesper Schmidt.
Hello, I'm Jesper.
And I'm Autumn.
This is episode 110 of the AmWritingFantasy podcast. And this is one of our alternating lists. And things might go a bit crazy here today as we talk about the worst magic systems or spells that we could think of.
Oh, I can't wait for this one. I had so much fun coming up with this list.
Yeah, I got a bit of inspiration as well from the internet, but I'll talk more about that once we get to the lists. But there's some really shitty spells in here.
I can't wait.
But how are you doing?
Oh, good. You know, we had a bit of a snowstorm recently, and so we actually had no power. Thank goodness the house where we're at has a generator, so that kind of, made everybody kind of calm down and just stay in and watch Netflix and get some writing done. So that's always a good thing. But
yeah, I just see you emailing about a snowstorm and all that. That's not good.
yeah, it was a heavy, wet snow. It wasn't deep. It was just really heavy, so it broke things. But I just do my best to stay off the news as much as possible, because otherwise it's like you just keep watching. I keep thinking, like, by the time this podcast is published, since we're recording early, that it's like, well, hopefully the world's in a happy, safer place than it feels like for this week that we're entering right now. But I'll keep my fingers crossed.
Oh, yeah. The things are going a bit crazy over there in your part of the world, that's for sure.
Yeah, there's no other way of putting it. I just keeping my head down and writing and editing. I'm on to edits for my next book release for The Tainted Fae, so that's good. I actually pulled out a spreadsheet when I did it. I thought, I'm like, you would be proud, because I always avoid spreadsheets in what we do. I made a spreadsheet for my edits, and so I could tackle them organized manner, and they're going well. So I'm happy that way.
Yeah, that's very good. Yeah.
So how are things over there?
Well, we are still in partial lockdown here
Yes.
in Denmark at the moment. It's a bit worse, so they've made more restrictions again now. I mean, we can still go grocery shopping and go for a walk outside, but that's more or less it. Everything else you're not really allowed. So I guess I'm starting to go a bit crazy being locked up inside like this. Yeah, but I'm sure I'm not the only one who's feeling increasingly annoyed at COVID-19. It's just so freaking annoying by now.
For goodness sakes, it's named 19 because it was 2019. It's 2021 by now. We should be moving on. But
Get with the program, COVID.
yeah, totally. But yeah, that's why Mom and I go back and forth. I mean, I want to see my parents so badly, and obviously I can't right now, but we share a lot of pictures of what we're baking, and then the lady whose property where we're at, and I go and talk to her, and we're talking about baking. I'm like, I think this is just what we're doing. It's winter, it's Vermont, there's too much snow to go for a really long walk unless you want to go like snowshoeing, and yeah, we just talk about baking.
Yeah, what else can you do,
exactly.
Right? No, but I think apart from all of that, things are, going well. Well, you and I, mostly you and me testing, but finished up the redesign of the AmWritingFantasy website, so that's pretty cool.
I'm so excited. It looks so good, and that it's just a pleasure to be on there and look at it, and let me get so pretty.
Yeah. So if any listeners want to check out what it looks like, then just go to amwritingfantasy.com and check it out. Let us know what you think.
Yes, I'd love to hear.
Yeah, and we've also been busy as well, because we have also moved our entire email list from ConvertKit to MailerLite.
Yes, and you've been getting organized there. That was a huge task, but I think it came out well. And we've been writing. You can't forget the fact that you and I are writing a novella together. And so we're getting that kind of the kinks of that worked out as well.
Yeah, so it looks like all in all, things are going well after all. We just have to ignore that COVID monster.
Yeah, absolutely.
A week on the internet with the AmWritingFantasy podcast.
A huge and warm welcome goes to Dominic, our latest supporter on Patreon.
Welcome, Dominic. It's so great to have you.
Absolutely. So, as I've said many times before, if you haven't checked out Patreon already, please find the link in the show notes. We do try to offer a ton of rewards over there. And there are also the weekly posts about writing and also book marketing. And I'll leave it to you to guess who's writing what posts.
I don't know. They don't know us that well yet, I don't think.
Oh, you don't think so? Well, at least if you've listening to the podcast for quite a while, you can probably guess who's doing writing posts and who's doing book marketing posts.
Even though we do cross hats occasionally. But yes, I don't know if you saw the message from Garrett today, but I had started doing a description thesaurus inspired by the emotion thesaurus, and so I started with forests, and he said, I love it. Describing the forest is much of what his current story is and the most difficult thing he's working on right now. So it was just like I must have been reading his mind because I just gave him a whole bunch of ideas for the forest in his novel. So I just love that.
Yeah, that's very cool. Yes, I did see the post there, so that was cool. So if you haven't checked it out already, go and check it out, and at least see if it's something for you. And we'll be happy to have you.
Absolutely.
Anything else we should mention, Autumn, before we start going crazy with our spells?
Only I just want to give another shout out to Luke and Jason, our moderators on AmWritingFantasy, because they deserve a shout out occasionally because they are our gatekeepers. And oh my goodness, the group is growing by leaps and bounds and is so much fun. And they are moderators who are entertainers as well, I think, at times. I love to see what their antics are.
Yeah, that's the Facebook group. So
yes.
Just search for AmWritingFantasy under the groups on Facebook if you want to be part of that community there. It's really funny. There's some good banter going on once in a while, and there's also a lot of helpful stuff. People helping each other out with advices and stuff like that. So it's really great. Luke usually pitches in and helps with good advice, and Jason just posts a ton of inspirational questions that you can think about. Yeah,
he caught me in one of them. He's so mean.
I saw that. Yeah, that was so funny. And led you down the rabbit hole.
He did, totally.
And on to today's topic.
Yeah, so as I said at the top, this is one of our famous, or I don't know, perhaps infamous?
Infamous, yes, that might be the way to go.
But it's one of our alternating lists anyway, and I guess we'll try to have a bit of fun with this one, Autumn.
I think so, because I had so much fun coming up with it. I mean, there is the serious side, which I did a little bit of internet research, and I did see that a lot of readers had a number one worst magic system. You asked that on a forum or a post. And
really?
Yeah. And they were the first thing, 99% would say they would be frustrated with inconsistent or poorly defined magic systems where magic users could not do something in one book or one chapter, and it was just fine in the next one. Or they also, the runner-up would probably have been, or where the heroes have godlike power and they just can't be defeated, and they'd often use superheroes like Superman.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, they was like, there's no real tension, you're never worried. So I avoided those. But what I came up with, I went with actual magical abilities that if they existed, I would possibly have to turn down the ability to have magic, which that's just like, what? I can't believe. I mean, if magic is an option and I would say no, that was what made my list. So
yeah,
this should be fun.
I also tried to go the most silly way I could think of.
Excellent.
Like if I was a mage, this would be the most useless spell I could have. That was kind of what I was trying to go for.
Well, this will be good.
Yeah, so of course, maybe some of what we're saying, probably nobody wants to copy these spells because they're quite useless. But maybe something will prompt another thought in somebody's mind, and they might get a bit of inspiration for something. But otherwise, this is just going to be a bit of fun today. So you can just
Absolutely.
sort of lean back and listen to a bit of crazy stuff going on here.
I think it'll be perfect, and maybe it will inspire a moment of humor in someone's novel somewhere. That'd be kind of cool too.
Yeah. Before we get going, did you find it difficult, Autumn, to work out some really useless spells? Was
Well,
it? How did you think about it? Because to me, actually, it was harder than I thought.
it was. I actually came up with like four, and I actually stuck almost mostly to magic systems, whole systems. So we're gonna actually have some really different things, which will be exciting. But I came up with four pretty easily, and then I finally came up with a fifth one, I think, yesterday. But I did. This is one where I started last week, and I did not, I did not wait into the 15 minutes before we started recording. I actually did my homework and thought about this one pretty seriously.
Oh wow, what a change! So we just have to come up with some nonsense topics, and then you're gonna do
I'll
homework.
be
Is
so
that what you're
serious
saying?
about the nonsense topics.
Okay. I don't
Absolutely.
know what that says. Very professional podcasting here.
I'm contrary. Ask my husband, who's probably more contrary than me.
Yeah. No, I honestly found it a bit harder than I thought, because it was like,
Oh,
if I was a mage and I felt like this was gonna be the most stupid spell that I could have, it felt like that was actually harder than I thought, because then as soon as I started thinking about something, then I thought, well, actually, maybe in that situation it could be useful. So it was like, how could I come up with something where it's almost like no matter which situation I could think of, it would be useless. So that was what. So yeah, as I said, I cheated a bit, but I will say which ones I cheated with, and where I got a bit of inspiration from the internet. But there was some really funny ones, so
oh.
they were too funny not to include on my list.
Oh, I can't wait to hear them. No, I think it'll be fun. So it's funny, you went with like, what is the most useless spell? And I went with like, what would it take for me not to want to have magic? So it'll be,
Yeah.
it's two different perspectives, but these are going to be so much fun.
Yeah, and then at the end we'll have to, so we can think about this as we go, and I guess the listener can as well. But I think at the end we'll need to work out which one of the 10 entries here is the winner, then which one is the
Okay.
worst of it all. Right?
Oh, I cannot wait to share my worst with you then. But we'll get there. That's the last one. We have to start at
Yeah,
number
the thing is we
one.
have to agree on it, so
I
that's
know that'll be
gonna
tough.
be, yeah,
I'm sure
that'll be
there'll be
very
a winner of the worst. I don't know if I want to be that winner.
well, you could say that the one who came up with the worst one was the most creative, so in that way
Oh,
you won.
oh, I like
Yeah.
that one. Okay.
Okay, so yeah, do you want to start or do you want me to start?
Oh,
I
either
actually
or.
tried to rank mine, by the way, so
I
that
did
number 5
too.
is the least stupid one, then number 1 is the worst.
So I did it the opposite. So my number one is the most like, if this existed for magic, it probably wouldn't bother me too much. And number five is, okay, no, if this existed, I
All
might
right,
actually work on annihilating magic. So
all right. Yeah, we just need to work from least bad to worst, right? So
perfect.
we work in that order.
All right, I am ready for that. So whoever wants to start, if you want to go ahead.
Okay. All right. So number 5 was well, this was one of my internet searches.
Mm,
It's pretty bad, but I can still do worse.
okay.
Yeah. So I actually found a list of useless D&D spells,
Oh.
and this one just really stood out to me because I don't know what the game designers have been
Oh
up to.
no.
Maybe they've been drinking the day they made this. I don't know. So this one is, and I have no idea which version of D&D it was in or whatnot. So if we have some really competent game masters out there, please don't kill me. But this is just the word of the internet, right? So it's not my fault if it's incorrect, but it's funny anyway. So the spell is called Banish Dazzle. So
Okay.
let me read out to you what the spell actually does. Are you
Oh,
ready for this?
no, sure.
Instead of laughing myself, I haven't even started yet.
Oh no.
Okay, so once this spell is cast, the target sees clearly through blinding sunlight and heat shimmer. Reflected sunlight from a mirror has no effect on the target, and they are immune from being blinded by light spells. So can you work out what that is?
Why would they have that one?
It's basically a pair of sunglasses, right?
Oh, shoot.
That's what it is.
Seriously?
Can you hear that? It's just sunglasses.
Oh, they made a spell for sunglasses.
I mean, if I was able to cast spells, I hope that I could do something better than casting sunglasses. It's just like stupid.
That's yeah. I that would just not be that impressive as a spell.
No, it's like, oh, the sun is a bit sharp today, and then I'll do my spell thingy, and then it's not as sharp as anymore. It's like, okay,
That's fine.
And what level mates are you again?
Yeah. That's what you were doing. You're like getting a little senile, and the brightness bothers your eyes more.
Yeah, well, yeah, actually, maybe if you worked at a home for the elderly, maybe that would actually be a pretty useful spell. You could go around casting it on summer days.
Oh, there you go. You would be the favorite of everyone there.
Yeah, okay. So you see, actually, this is why it was the least bad of them, because it actually had some usefulness to it.
Uselessness. There we go.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, that was the way.
That's a tongue twister. All right.
Yeah.
So you want to hear my magic system that if this existed, I might be able to put up with it if it meant having magic.
Okay.
All right. So that whenever you cast a spell, a smell is also created. So this could be anything from like lavender and honey to, skunk, fart, something rancid. And I also thought of the caveat that, of course, anything that likes to eat magic users would definitely learn to track you by smells. So,
yeah.
It's a mild. This is like one a 5-year-old would adore, but I was thinking, I could see the embarrassment in polite society when you're trying to cast a spell and it's like, it wasn't me. I made magic.
Yeah, like the court wizard.
Oh, jeez.
with the king and everything. Yeah. Gandalf, didn't I tell you should not fart when you're casting fireball?
So, see, this would be quite amusing in a different world. Because it is funny. It did make me think that in world building, I don't know of any magic system where magic actually produces a smell. It's always lights or tingling or something. Why not smells? Why does magic never produce a smell? So there. I challenge all world builders out there. Make smells. Make your magic smell.
Yeah, indeed. Or it could be a sound as well, maybe. Yeah. Sometimes magic spells does make sounds already, but smell is good. But I'm wondering if you could make magic spells where there is a smell, but it doesn't turn into like ridiculous stuff. I mean, because imagine that you're writing your novel and then you're saying, okay, and he cast a fireball at the enemy, and there was a smell of lavender. It's just like it instantly turns it into what is this?
I think you would definitely have to create something like brimstone or sulfur that goes. Every spell would have to maybe have a slightly different odor that fits its. Otherwise, it would be. I don't know, it'd be quite the contrariness where you have this devastating, horrible spell that kills people and it smells like roses.
And there you got a rose and a fart. There you go, and you're dead.
That's horrible. Well, it'd be a fun kids book. This would be a fantastic children's book.
Kids book. Yeah, actually, then it might. Yeah, well, then again, it's not too bad. I mean, we were supposed to come up with the completely useless stuff, but now we've had 2 on our list already, and we already found uses for them.
But it's only number 5. Wait till you get to number 1.
Right. Okay.
All right. So you're number 4.
All right. So this is one that I came up with, and I almost cannot think of a single situation where this spell would be useful. But maybe you can, Autumn,
Okay.
and maybe I'll change my mind in a minute.
All right. Do
But,
I win if I come up with a use for this spell?
I'm not sure I want to concede that easily, but
Okay. All right. All right. I had to ask. All right.
yeah, nice try. Forget it. I'm gonna throw a fart in your general direction. So this is the ability to, or spell that makes anything tasteless.
Oh, that's horrible.
What do you think about that?
I think it's horrible. You know, I'm a foodie. I love food. This is just. So I'm partially terrified of COVID because you can't taste things. If I couldn't taste my tea, I would just cry every day.
Yeah, and I'm thinking as well, that if you're in a medieval fantasy setting, I mean, it's actually good that things taste bad when they're off, right?
Yeah.
Then you know not to eat it. And even if you don't like the food, why would you want to make it tasteless and eat it anyway?
Yeah. It's just,
Can you think of a single situation where this would be useful?
yeah, if you need to take medicine for some horrible condition and the medicine was just absolutely putrid.
Damn. Damn it. I thought so hard about this cannot be used in any situation whatsoever. Damn it.
I have a really strong gag reflex, so there's definitely I have a hard time taking pills and things, so no, this was totally, there's times I would probably like that for like 5 seconds and then everything goes back to normal. I'd be fine.
Right, yeah.
There's got to be a reverse anti-taste spell for me.
Then it wasn't even that bad anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Every kid,
I need to work harder on my list.
Yeah, every kid who's got to take medicine for a cold or something would want this spell. Totally.
Damn it. Okay. Okay, I concede that's not a good one.
Oh, I like it though. I might want that one, but so if we're going for worse spells, it's not quite that bad. It's very useful to have in your back pocket.
You're saying I should work harder on my bad spell list.
I think so. We needed another week for this now. All right, you ready for my number 4?
Yeah.
All right, so for this magic system, I went with the idea of the law that for every action, an equal and opposite reaction happens, and this would hold true with magic. But in this case, if you cast a healing spell, you're cursed. So while you might save your friend's life, you're going to be walking around with the extreme chance of dying in a remarkably stupid way for at least several days. Or the opposite would hold true, and if you cast a curse, you would be given good luck. So I was thinking, this is what came to me, is like this scene where a guy is, to save his own life, has to decide if he wants to curse like his lover or his best friend. So would you curse someone to something horrible like boils or pox or whatever just so you could save your own skin? The tension for writing this scene would be so much fun.
Yeah, because I was, that was exactly what I was thinking. I mean, if I was a mage, I would find it pretty annoying that this is the magic system. But if it was a magic system for a story that I was going to read, then it could actually be a bit interesting, because you have to really consider when is it worth it to use my magic skills and when is it not. But I'm not sure that the mages in this setting will be very happy people.
No, it goes to show that we're really cruel to our characters. We're like, oh, that'd be interesting to do to them. But for ourselves and those that we love, are like, oh, that'd be horrible. We should never, ever condone that. So,
no, yeah.
Writers are insane.
Yeah, well, speak for yourself. But but I like those when you have these kind of that there is a very high price to pay for something. I like that. Maybe you're taking it a bit to the extreme there, but
oh no, if you want extreme, that's coming. Don't worry.
Oh shit! Okay. I cannot wait almost to hear what you have on your list.
All right. But yeah, I thought that one, like I said, I would actually be tempted to at least do a flash fiction or something along these lines, because it'd be kind of fun to do that to characters. But yeah, as a magic system, I don't know if I could do a whole book of that. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, well, you could, but then I think magic would have to be a very small part of the story, right? So that it cannot be like the main character is Raistlin and so on, right? That's not gonna work.
No.
Unless he just want to go around and like curse everybody and heal himself all the time.
Exactly.
Then,
he would have wonderful luck, but the world would go to shite, but he would be doing so well.
I think the thing about having a likable character sort of goes out the window there.
Only if they feel guilty while casting curses for good luck.
Yeah, but I don't think the readers will appreciate that character very much.
No, I wouldn't.
No. Okay, so we are like in the middle of the list now.
Yes, I want to hear your number
and,
3.
Yeah, and since my first 2 attempts to create something completely useless wasn't that useless anyway, I've now borrowed something from somewhere else so that if this is actually useful, then it's not my fault.
Okay, sounds good. Casting the blame elsewhere, I understand.
Yes, that's usually the easiest way of doing things, because then also you don't feel bad about anything. It's never your fault.
There you go. Huh, I like it.
So my number 3, I borrowed from the Harry Potter universe. Because this one seems, well, at least to me, both stupid and utterly useless. So I did find it on a website listing useless spells taught at Hogwarts.
Oh no!
So if the listener wants to laugh at some more spells, then do an internet search for that. Just search for useless spells taught at Hogwarts, and you'll find some lists. And there's quite some stupid stuff in there. But anyway, here goes. So this was one of the ones that I found, well, most useless.
All right.
So this quote is actually from the Harry Potter books. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah. Let's go for it.
Okay, quote. He and Ron both tapped the teacups they were supposed to be charming with their hands. Harry's sprouted 4 very short legs that would not reach the desk and wriggled pointlessly in midair. Ron's grew 4 very thin, spindly legs that hoisted the cup off the desk with great difficulty, trembled for a few seconds, then folded, causing the cup to crack into 2. End quote. What is the point of that spell?
A spell that makes teacups grow legs.
Yeah, I mean, even if you could cast that spell, why would you want a walking teacup? I just don't understand.
I can see one use for it, and that is if my husband knew it, he would do it just to torture me so that I would have to be chasing down my tea. Besides that, I can't think of anything. I can't think of anything useful about it.
Really? Are you sure?
I'm sure. Other than torturing me, no. That's all that comes to
so
my
what
mind.
if you were like really lazy and well, somebody would still have to pour it into the cup, so that doesn't help much. Yeah.
And I mean, what if it's too hot, or I don't know. I mean, how well can they hold the cup and it's not going to slop all over you? I don't know. There's too many things that can go wrong, as Harry and Ron prove.
Yeah, I would just feel like a complete failure as a magic user if this is what I could do.
Yeah.
I just feel like, where's the magic school? Please let me in and teach me something
useful.
This is I'm just a complete noob here.
Yeah, that one's, that'd be good for maybe a children's tea party just to entertain them a little bit. But yeah, havoc would reign.
Okay, so let's see if you can do better than that. Then I'm raising the stakes on you here now. Can you feel that?
I can feel it. I actually feel the pressure on. It's like you're reaching the midpoint of the chapter, and you're like, oh, something's gonna happen now. But hey, I'm gonna take one from your book, and I borrowed this one from another source. This actually comes from the book The Magicians. So it is, if magic is so complicated and affected by the natural world so easily that you basically need a spreadsheet or a computer algorithm, I'm imagining an app on your phone, to double check the star charts, the tide charts, the time the sun rose, where the moon is located and in what constellation, the humidity of the air, the weather, and all of that. It makes magic so complicated that it basically takes the magic out of magic. Though I did think it would be funny, like I said, to have this app on your phone that says, due to today's humidity and sunrise, you must turn 3 degrees to the east to cast the spell. It'd be like,
It would be it would be a bit cool if it was like in the app with you could basically swipe spells. So it'd be like, okay, based on the environment of today and the stars and the moons and whatnot, these are the spells available. Swipe the ones you want to cast, and you just like.
That actually would be hilarious. That's just what I need as another short story idea. That would be actually that would be kind of fun.
Yeah. So, but the only problem is if you're being attacked and you don't have any attack spells on your app,
or your phone goes dead.
Oh yeah, you on a battery in the middle of a dragon breathing down on you. It's like, oh shit.
Or
I know there's a flight spell in here, but no.
Oh yeah. Or I mean, especially if you did make it go, medieval, so we don't have phones, and you just imagine the scrolls. You would have to double check to cast any spell. It would just that'd be murderous. I'd be like, no, I'm gonna wing it and see what happens. I might turn into a turnip. I don't care.
Yeah, I think without the without an app or something to control it, it would be you have to carry around a library just to cast one spell. I mean, I think mages would just stop casting spells. It's like this is not even worth it.
Exactly.
It's much easier to learn how to fight with a sword instead or something.
That's when I was reading The Magicians, because they didn't have an app, and it was a very complicated, like checking all these things, and I was like, oh, if magic was this complicated, I would be the rebel getting everything wrong, because I would never ever check everything correctly. No. And I'd forget by the time I got to the end, or the humidity would have changed because it took me so long to figure it out. So
in that story, do they have to sort of work out what they can cast? I mean,
I honestly forget. I just remember that part of the magic system going, just no. You need a spreadsheet. It's not for me.
Well, you just said you had started the spreadsheet.
Only for editing. If it, it's just
you're already taking the first step. You just have to follow through now.
To add the magic items to the spreadsheet and collate them and just make an app. Yeah. I'll ask my nephew to write me a new app code and I'll be fine.
Yeah, well, it would be even more crazy if it's like, as long as you just had the app, then you could cast the spells. You just swipe them, and then you don't even have to be a magic user. Everybody could just download the app, and then I wonder how much an app like that would cost.
I'm sure there would be tiers, but I would pay anything for God powers in that one. That is awesome. I will sell my soul for that app, please.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a very expensive app.
I think so too, but man, I want to invent that one. That would be pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, yes.
On many levels. Many levels. All right, let's get to number 2.
Yeah, there's actually also 2 levels to my number 2, because I started in one place and then I sort of changed it a bit. But let me just first say where I started, but then I changed it a bit.
All right.
So I tried to think a bit bigger for number 2. We're approaching the top of the list here. So for this one, I actually thought about a whole magic system rather than just a single spell.
Okay.
And first, I was sort of wondering how poor a magic system would be if it was based on dreams alone.
Oh.
You see, so basically you have almost no control over your spells.
Oh,
I mean, it's just gonna be whatever you dream is what you can cast, and it's just it's gonna be pretty useless, right? Because
it would be, but I'm actually a little terrified because of my confession. My husband actually had a dream the other night where I died, so I'm glad this doesn't exist, because that would be horrible. He woke up upset, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, that's not good.
No, right? This magic system's terrifying me now. Okay.
Yeah, and also, I mean, it would be pretty bad if let's say the orcs are attacking you and you're like, hold on, I just need to fall asleep first, and then maybe I can save myself. Can you please stop hitting me? I can't sleep when you're hitting me.
Or I can imagine your best friend has a lot of night terror, so you're like, no, you need more caffeine. Have some more caffeine. You need more caffeine. You cannot go to sleep tonight. I am not sleeping next to you.
Oh my God, yes. Yeah. Actually, it would probably be the other way around. It would not be about what spells you could cast. It would be other people trying to prevent you from casting spells.
Just keep bumping you every time you start falling asleep. No, wake up.
Yeah, indeed. But then, because then I thought, well, if it's a magic system, then mages should sort of be able to cast spells when they want to cast spells. Otherwise, it's sort of, well, I don't know. Then it didn't feel right. So I changed it a bit. Then I said, what if you were only able to cast spells when you were intoxicated?
Oh, no.
What do you think about that?
I'm thinking this sounds like a really bad rave, but it might be fun to go.
Yeah, I mean, well, I guess everybody would be drunks. All the mages are always drunk. And I mean, I could see how it might work okay if you were planning out your spells in advance. You know, so it's gonna be like, okay, tonight I have to cast the all-seeing spells that allows me to see where the enemy army is at or something. And then, you know, you'll have a bottle of wine, and then you'll cast your spell, and next day you could tell the king, well, they're 200 miles off. I saw it yesterday. So in that sense, it might work.
Yeah.
But I just can't see the battle scenes again, right? With this drunken, stupid wizard is tumbling around the wet battlefield and fire shooting all the fireballs left and right, and it's just like he's completely drunk and out of his mind. I mean, I just can't see it.
No.
It's useless.
It would be, again, probably hilarious to write, and I can imagine the people going, oh gosh, his power's fading, quick, give him a shot, you know? Carrying around some royal or magical apprentice gets to be the one carrying the wine flask and keeping the wizard drunk. It would be a hoot to write, and it would definitely be ton of fun at a party. But yeah, you know how people, it's so hard to stay focused, and so you'd be like, oh, look at the pretty bird. No, it's a dragon. You have to get rid of the dragon.
Yeah, indeed. Did you forget about the dragon again? Oh my god.
It could be if someone wanted to write fantasy comedy, it'd be really funny. Even if it was just one wizard, like the most powerful wizard, this is just how his magic worked best. It would be like Pirates of the Caribbean meets Merlin.
Yeah,
I'd read that. I would read that.
Oh my god, now you found a use for it again.
Sorry.
You need to stop doing that with my lists.
I want to win this one. Sorry.
Yeah, I can hear it. It's just not okay.
Okay. Well, I'll try to sober up.
Okay.
All right. So you ready for my number 2?
Yes, and I have to find something to make it useful.
Pull apart. Okay. Well, if you do, that's fine, because this is actually it's partially inspired by the Wheel of Time series, but
Right. So it's not your fault.
It's not my fault if you can find a use for this one. Again, though, this is variants of this one have been used in so many numerous fantasy stories and settings, and at the basics level, it's that magic causes physical problems. But for this one, to make it something that really makes me say, no, if that's how magic works, don't sign me up. I'm going to stick with the extreme example, and it's not just forgetfulness or insanity or blindness or deafness, but instead, the use of magic basically can interfere with your blood circulation and cause sections of your living body to start to rot, almost like a necroscopic or flesh-eating bacteria. So, just no, anything that comes down to chunks of my physical being just turning gangrenous and falling off. Just no. I'm good. I think I would rather go learn to use swords.
Yeah, where's your leg at? Well, I cast lightning yesterday.
Or what's worse, it's slowly putrefy, like get worse and like look like a bruise and start turning green and spreading, and you don't know how far it's gonna spread, and oh no. It's almost like zombie magic. No, I don't want that one.
But okay, what if what if you're a vampire?
Oh.
You're just gonna heal again.
You would heal again. Okay, so as long as you had something to counteract it.
Yeah. So, or if you're a ghost or something?
If you're already dead.
Yeah.
You definitely have to Yeah, something short of being able to magically heal, be a goddess, so that maybe it lasts a day or two and then fades, and you heal and it grows back.
Yeah, so I think I just made it useful.
All right.
I think that's the conclusion of that.
Okay. I'll let you have that one. All right.
Okay,
the worst of the worst.
The worst of the worst
Okay.
is coming.
I'm ready.
Da, 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 da. No, I really like this number one. It is so stupid I can't believe it.
Oh no.
This is also from the list of D&D spells,
Oh.
and I never found a more useless spell than this.
Oh no.
So it's called chastise. So this is when you don't have the time to speak, to tell someone what you really think about them.
Okay.
And then you can cast a spell, and it'll take care of it for you.
What? Where's the satisfaction of that?
What's the point of that? And then also what was pointed out on that list is that you would actually have to speak the words, to cast a spell.
So you could just go tell the person.
I'm not even sure how you're going to save any time, because you have to speak anyway.
I guess only if there's travel involved. It keeps you from having to go see them. I assume you can cast it at a distance?
I don't think so.
Oh, jeez.
And it also said that the extra piece of information was that the spell also only works on people who actually offended the spellcaster.
Oh.
Right.
Well...
So it only works on somebody who offended you. And it only works if you're basically standing in front of them. So you have a choice about just speaking back to them, or say, speak some words and cast a spell, and then the spell will speak back to them. But what's the point?
So you hear it twice? Can you make it on repeat? So it's like it's just driving them insane for an hour? That could be worth it, depending on how much they pissed you off.
Yeah. I guess so, but I don't know. For this one, I dare you. You cannot find a single situation where this is useful.
I'm struggling, I have to admit, short of being able to have a repeat button so that you can harass someone with it.
It doesn't say anything about a repeat button. You can't invent things to my spell.
So if I can invent things for your spell, you're not sharing your spell coding. All right, fine.
Oh.
I have to admit,
this is useless.
Yeah, I have to say, I think that one is useless, so there you go.
Thank you.
I really don't know what to do with that one.
It wasn't that it was not me thinking of it.
Oh, well, that's pretty... It was useless, I have to admit.
Okay, good. So let me hear your useless one.
All right. Well, this one fit the definition, is that, and as far as I know, I made it up. I don't know if it exists, but this is the one magic system that I could come up with that if it existed, I not only don't want to have magic, I might be part of the rebellion and the resistance to destroy magic. So you ready for this one?
Yeah.
All right. So what actually gives you the ability to have and use magic is a parasite. So the only way to have magic is to have this thing living inside of you, slowly growing and feeding off of you until it kills you, and small larvae burst from your skin to infect waiting apprentices.
Jesus. Can you go more morbid than that?
I don't know. I can work on it a little bit more if you like.
No, I think that's plenty.
But yeah, I think if that was the way magic worked, I might actually try to annihilate it. That's just wrong.
So how long does it take before this worm kills you?
I didn't come up with that timeline, I have to admit. I was thinking, I'd give someone maybe a couple years, but definitely longer than a month.
Okay, and how powerful are you during these couple of years?
That's something. Oh, I didn't world build that. That's a good question. I would imagine that probably towards the end, when you're like nothing more than a shriveled husk, that you could cast some really nice potent magic, because you're mostly magical parasite at that point. I mean, as the parasite grows in you, your magic abilities should become stronger.
So you could like turn yourself into a lich in the end, and then you'll become immortal?
I don't know, but you
see, now I'm starting to find usefulness for you.
You are. I'm just wondering how that would affect the parasite, because once you don't have the parasite, you'd have to bond with the parasite somehow. Otherwise, you won't have magic, and it would fail.
Mm.
So you should test this a lot before, getting one of these parasites in your system. Yeah.
Oh my god, that's pretty nasty.
Thank you. I tried really
It would
hard
fit
for you.
it would fit like a horror story almost.
Well, dark fantasy, why not? A little horror fantasy.
Yeah. Okay, people, that was 10 really bad spells or magic systems. I don't know if that was useful at all, but maybe.
Hopefully it made everyone laugh, or they got to think about, something they hadn't considered before, like what their magic system smells like.
Yeah, true. So which one is the worst one of them all?
That I don't know. I have to say, for the most useless, being able to just chastise someone is kind of silly. But then again, the running teacup thing. Why? Why would you do that? Just...
I don't know.
Those are definitely the most useless.
Yeah. Yeah, because I really like your top bad one there.
My parasite.
Yeah, your parasite. But at least during those years, it is useful.
Useful.
You can do a lot of stuff during those years. It will kill you, but you can do a lot of stuff.
That's right. But I was going for worst magic system, so I think for worst.
Yeah.
Like I said, if that was the way magic worked, I might go be pretty good at killing parasites. I would be a magic parasite hunter, which would be kind of fun, actually, to write. But damn.
I have a suggestion for you.
Okay. All right.
What if we split it this one? And so that we say the worst magic system is your parasite one, and the worst spell is the teacup.
Okay, I will go for that. We both get to be crowned winners for this one. Yay! Woo.
Yeah, it was my suggestion. Now I'm already regretting it.
You gotta learn to share.
I guess so. Okay, so next Monday we are back to a bit of a more serious topic, as we will be discussing the 7 steps of story structure.
If you like what you just heard, there's a few things you can do to support the AmWriting Fantasy Podcast. Please tell a fellow author about the show and visit us at Apple Podcast and leave a rating and review. You can also join Autumn and Jesper on patreon.com/AmWritingFantasy. For as little as $1 a month, you'll get awesome rewards and keep the AmWriting Fantasy Podcast going. Stay safe out there and see you next Monday.